Such a very, very good human would always be measured by their capacity to harmoniously, in a balanced way, integrate with what is going on around them right now. In opposition to that, vices would be all the qualities that make us not integrate very well into the whole. You could say that the essence of all virtuous behavior is that we manage to integrate wonderfully as a part into the whole that surrounds us. Virtue makes, or is made up, you could say, of all those qualities that make us fit in harmoniously into the whole, not just into an artificially defined system like the law, which, if you just look at a book of law nowadays with all the millions and trillions of paragraphs and subparagraphs and subparagraphs and so forth, you understand that that is not necessarily something that now naturally arose. And anybody who would ever sit down and close their eyes, that's what they would write down. Clearly not. But this basically shows how the guidelines of society, the way that we live within society, is not necessarily anymore so aligned with the, let's say, natural rising of virtue within us. But it is rather built on certain constructs that then, as we spoke before, are cemented in a certain amount of guilt so that all members of society will abide by it. Whereas when our being harmoniously, naturally manages to integrate with whatever is around it, just by feeling, by perceiving, by tuning into what is going on right now, by finding the sweet spot of balance within that particular situation, that's what we would consider virtuous. When a person is able to come into a situation and read that situation, and in accordance with it, act in, let's say, in a balanced, fitting, and harmonious way. When a person comes into bounces into a moment of robbery and understands, okay, what's the thing to do? Can I manage to, intervene in this without me and the victim and the robber getting hurt? In a direct way? Do I need to ask someone else for help? Is there something that I can say to inspire a change within the situation? Is there a certain inner state to manifest? When all of these considerations arise naturally from within, this is what we would call a virtuous being. It's basically like Aristotle called it the pinnacle of humanity. You could call it being just a very, very good human. Such a very, very good human would always be measured by their capacity to harmoniously, in a balanced way, integrate with what is going on around them right now. In opposition to that, vices would be all the qualities that make us not integrate very well into the whole. When we feel shy to express what needs to be said in that moment. This is something that will then create a tension, a contradiction inside, even make us think about it later. Oh, I should have said this and that. When we don't succeed to stop when it is the time to stop, when we don't succeed to slow down, when we don't succeed to speed up, when it's the moment to speed up. All of those moments of imbalance, of not managing to integrate with what life is asking for in that moment, this is what we would call a vice. Always virtue, when expressed accordingly, as it will then bring you into an integration with what is around you, will bring great value to the system that you're integrated in, will bring great value to the company that you work for, to the family that you're part of, to the community that you're in. When you manage to continuously offer in the moment that you're in exactly that token from within you, that surplus that matches by integration what is the need of your surroundings, you will become a source of nourishment to your surroundings. Not that you need to consume yourself, not at all, but you will in every moment find that little morsel, that little token, that little bite within your heart, within your being, that is now the moment to offer. And through that offering, through that integrating with the whole, reaching out, giving something out, you come into this wonderful, harmonious relationship with everything around you. In opposition to that, the vicious one is the one that burdens a system, that burdens their family, that burdens their community, and so on and so forth. Not that that is not, that might be a result of the system treating the part. I'm not saying that. But if you consider it from this viewpoint of inner tension, inner conflict, then all the inner conflicts that we currently carry inside, they will always burden the system that we are in. And in the same way, when we clear out such conflicts, when we come to more inner harmony, that will always affect the system around us in a harmonious way. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like that you'll be notified with the things that we are sharing. In the viewpoint of Tantra, the universe in itself, the source point of all creation and everything that rises from it, is by default virtuous, which is exactly the ingredient that you need for the part to be virtuous. If you have a universe that rises from total chaos and vice, how can the part be virtuous? It doesn't work. So in Tantra, the universe is assumed being based on some unalterable frequencies that we refer to as the godly attributes, which are exactly the source point of any virtuous behavior. The godly attribute of godly generosity, the godly attribute of godly play, the godly attribute of godly humility, the godly attribute of godly greatness. All of these, as you can hear them defined within Tantra, sound as very virtuous qualities. By this continuous background of balance in itself, at this, yes, let's say at the moment of creation, or at the level of where creation is born, this trickles down all the way into each and every one of us. Us being considered in Tantra, and so, by the way, any part within this universe being considered a holographic replica of the entirety of everything, you naturally carry those virtuous ground-based frequencies of the universe, which we call the godly attributes, within you. The question is, how aware are you of them? And your awareness upon those frequencies, those qualities within you, will determine your manifestation of virtue, but also, ergo, your manifestation of balance. When you fully and completely resonate and bathe yourself in these godly qualities, your being will naturally return to its balance, will naturally reduce conflict, will naturally reduce viciousness, and so forth. Within the process of identifying with this balanced whole around us, virtue naturally arises. You could say that this idea of identifying with the whole, this could actually lead to quite some catastrophes as well. If you think of Nazi Germany, that's exactly what happened. The part identified very powerfully with a whole around it that was unfortunately not very much integrated into this virtuous balance of the universal forces. So it is not enough to, let's say, tune yourself sort of into whatever is going on around you right now. Okay, my friends, they're into whatever fashion and pop culture. So if I tune in with that and, I find a balanced way of being part of that, that will be fine. That makes me a virtuous being. No, it makes you attuned with your immediate surroundings. But if those surroundings are not, again, but in themselves, attuned with the greater surroundings, and that attuned with the greater surroundings and so forth, then you will not be able to attune yourself with that original balance of virtue at the level of the universe. Whereas when you allow yourself to attune exactly with those elements within the universe that are in attunement, that are in connection with that universal balance, you will naturally be virtuous. As an example, you can look at Nelson Mandela, who started off as a terrorist. This is why he went to jail, because he was doing all sorts of explosive attacks on in all sorts of ways, trying to make a change, but being identified with a very limited viewpoint of what change means, being identified with a group around him that was not in attunement with the godly attributes, basically, with the natural balance of the universe. Then, reflecting long enough, as he returned from prison, he started to now identify not with what a certain political group might have as an agenda, but what does the soul of South Africa need? What is the true, deep, gap within the heart of the South African people? What would heal this place? How could I really give something that will be on a universal level meaningful? And from that, he came up with a whole another political approach, a whole another way of going about reforming and revolutionizing a country through forgiveness and so forth. In this way, becoming naturally a virtuous, heroic being. Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra, and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.